Sometimes allow yourself to fail. Most people don't succeed in life because they are so afraid to start something new. If you don't even start, then there's no chance that you will ever learn from your mistakes. Stop being afraid to make mistakes. This is your chance to learn something more, to get out of your comfort zone, to know how much you're capable of, to expand your horizons. So welcome back to my 8 Habit 8 Week series. I'm pretty excited on sharing my thoughts on making mistakes and embracing imperfection to the fullest. So let's go! And the stars all to me. Hey there, welcome back. And let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was this girl who wanted to be an author. She loved expressing her thoughts through imagination and writing them on a paper. Everything was going perfectly. She knew what she was doing. She planned the entire story by heart. She even started writing it with a specific schedule. She was consistent with her efforts. She was doing all she could. She gave her best to that project, but she had a problem. The problem to be perfect, or chasing perfection, or should I say fear of imperfection. She wished this book to be her best that has ever written in history. And while there's nothing wrong in expecting good out of your efforts and hard work that you put in that project, it becomes toxic only when you constantly keep on criticizing yourself when it's not even necessary. Doubting herself was indeed a mistake, but having that fear of making mistakes and trying to avoid it was more toxic than ever. She wrote 3 chapters and then she stopped. Why? Because she wasn't really satisfied with the results. She changed her strategy and she tried again in the next year. She managed to write 5 chapters this time. That was a good move, and she could keep going, but her inner critic couldn't let her. She felt as if she could make it even more perfect, so she stopped. And once again, she tried next year to finally be able to write 7 chapters this time, but we both know what happened next. It literally took her 4 to 5 years to work on one project, where she could be writing multiple books in that time frame, if only she believed in herself and stopped doubting her abilities. She never allowed herself to embrace that process of being imperfect. Making mistakes is not a problem, but having that fear of not allowing yourself to make any mistakes or learn from them is purely toxic. Yes, this story sounds familiar because it's my personal experience. And if you're a current subscriber, you already know that because I have shared this experience in my previous videos. But I told you, self-doubt made me delay my dream project. And it all happened because I was so scared to allow myself to make mistakes. I was chasing perfection. I wanted to make this the best thing ever. And we both know what happened. I always used to think as if this thing could be even more better. While there's nothing wrong with trying to improve, there's definitely something wrong with me when I keep on criticizing myself and aiming for perfection, because that's not gonna happen. Not now, not anytime in the future. Now ask yourself, do you feel the same? Have you ever faced the same situation where you were doing something and then instantly stopped because of self-doubt? Because you think you were not ready to make mistakes and embracing your learning phase. You're so afraid to be a caterpillar, but you do want to be a butterfly. Then you need to allow yourself to be imperfect. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you doing something while learning everything else in the process. At least start somewhere. Nobody is born with that skill. We are learning while we are making mistakes. So if I feel like I want to write a book, how am I going to write a book if I never start? How am I going to learn swimming if I'm not getting in that swimming pool? How am I going to drive a car just by watching a YouTube video? It doesn't work like that. We need to apply it in our lives practically. We need to learn something on our own. It's okay if you don't know how to speak a new language, let's say French. Just start somewhere, practice yourself talking in the mirror, and don't be afraid to make mistakes while you're speaking a new language. It's not about the vocabulary, yes. Remember yourself when you were like 5-year-old. Our child was never worried about making mistakes or getting hurt. Even when we know that we couldn't do something, we never told ourselves that we are not capable of it. You cannot just satisfy yourself by watching a YouTube video or reading a book on how to cook and then never try it in real life. Maybe you will burn a cake or two, but what? Now you know what's the right temperature to cook it. So we never used to think as if I get on that cycle and I would hurt my knee. No, I have never seen a single child who has not been hurt while they were either trying to learn to ride a bicycle or maybe running too fast. We were not afraid of making mistakes. We learn from mistakes. That teaches us what to avoid next. It gives us that experience of a lifetime. And most importantly, it allows us to expand our horizon. We used to overthink situations. We never used to think as if somebody will make fun of us if we go and dance on that stage while the entire school is watching us. What happened to that kid? Why are we doubting ourselves too much? Ask yourself these questions and maybe your inner self will answer. Talk to your inner child. I recently saw this random video on Pinterest where a girl was describing a technique that her therapist told her. She said that you need to close your eyes and revisit yourself in the past, back when you were almost 3 to 5 years old. Go and imagine yourself in that old bedroom. See yourself sitting there. Talk to your child self. Tell that child that you needed to hear when you were that kid. Behave like an adult that you always desired to have, somebody you seeked advice from. Give yourself advice and listen to your own problems from your child's perspective. Understand their point of view. Let them talk to you without hesitation. Make them feel safe. Hug them. Let them know that you're always there. Make that kid feel safe around you. This may sound crazy, but when you try this technique, you will soon realize that you're gradually healing from your past traumas. And you might be fixing your old perceptions, things that you no longer want to believe in, things that may trigger you in some way. You know, one of those moments when you question your own beliefs. You freeze over a situation and then you think, why do I think like that? Why do I believe this way? Whenever you watch a movie, you must notice if a girl is being rude with someone or everyone per se, and she just don't want to give that guy a chance to date her, or maybe she just simply don't trust people because she has past traumas. She was either cheated on in the past, or maybe her boyfriend died in some unexpected situations. She is still carrying that guilt with her and she is afraid of letting someone in, right? The same way, when we see a rude person in real life, there must be a possibility that the person has faced a lot of hardships in his life and that made him this way. But do we really think about that? No, right? We only give our sympathy to the real life characters rather than real life. We don't give a damn about the toxicity in the books. We love to hear a story about a 1,000-year-old vampire falling in love with a teenager. Hey, I love that as well. Even though that vampire has killed a lot of people, it will still melt your heart if he sacrificed something for that one girl. Or maybe he burned the world because someone touched her, right? The point is, you are so capable to see good in someone. You know someone is worthy of redemption because even though he's just a fictional character and nobody does that in real life, but still you see the good in him. You see what makes him a better person instead of what makes him worse, which is more, but you still focus on the good. You defend that character by saying that he must have been through a lot in the past, and he definitely did, because we know the flashback, we know the story, but it doesn't happen with real people. You always pinpoint their viewpoints and solidify that into your own existence, your childhood trauma. Don't you think that whatever you are now is because of how you were treated in childhood? And there we are on struggling to make decisions. I used to struggle making decisions a lot. I still do to some extent, because there was always this confusion in my brain that says, I don't know what's the right thing to do. But when I looked back to my childhood and established a connection with my 5-year-old cute little girl, then I found out that the reason I struggle making decisions is because whenever I tried making decisions in the past, then there was a possibility that my parents or elders or my friends or anyone else has some different opinion than mine. I cannot believe that it started that early, but even if I want to buy a toy, then my elders always had a say in it. There's nothing wrong with parents wanting the best for you, but somehow it created a problem for me, because now my mind subconsciously believes that no matter the decision, there's always going to be that one person who has that solution. No matter if my decision is the right one, I still have to wait for someone else's judgment and their point of view, and we both know that we cannot satisfy everyone's opinion and end up feeling more confused than ever. So I went back to my childhood. I imagined my old bedroom. I visualized myself as that 5-year-old kid who was confused. I watched some old photos of myself to remember how I used to style my hair, and so I used to look like, just to get myself a real experience. I had a safe and friendly conversation with that kid, and I told her that it's okay to decide for yourself. You don't really have to make anyone happy. You don't really have to worry about someone else's opinion. Just do your own thing. Just focus on your own decisions. Everything is going to be just fine. And hey, even if you do make a bad decision, then we are going to own it together. Don't have to feel guilty about it. Consider it as a lesson and learn from it for the best. Then I hugged her and I came back with some tears in my eyes, and it was still totally worth it. Now, I won't say that this trick is a magic solution to all your problems. It works like everything else. You believe it, then it will. If you don't, then it won't. It's that simple. Plus, old beliefs take a lot of time to adjust. It took you around 10 to 20 years to believe in a certain way, and now you're expecting to wipe that down with a new belief in what? Like just one day? Isn't that crazy? So take your time, keep talking to yourself with your new beliefs and solidify them into your existence. You won't believe that money comes to me easily in just one day when you have spent your entire childhood feeling like money is the most difficult thing to get and money is the root of all evil. Then it's a problem. You cannot suddenly believe that I am intelligent. Then your entire childhood was based on constant mocking by your friends to tell you how stupid you act, how dumb you are. Heal that child first, then we'll talk. Fix that problem, then go for the solution. If you're injured, then you need a band-aid. You can't simply skip the healing part and go on your merry way. It takes time, and time is all we have. What are you afraid of? Emotions? Situations? Decisions? Making mistakes? Being imperfect? What is it? And that's it for today. Now it's time for you to like this video if you haven't already, and make sure you share it with someone who's going to find these tips useful. Make sure you subscribe to my channel because we are not done yet. There's still a lot of episodes yet to come, so don't miss that, and subscribe right now, and don't forget to hit that bell notification because I'm going to post another part every weekend. Comment down your thoughts and whatever you're feeling. I love to hear new ideas, some topic ideas, or whatever you want to see more of. Things that you want me to discuss. This is a free space. We may not know each other personally, but I hope that we have developed that connection virtually. Sending you virtual hugs, and I see you in the next one. Until then, signing off.